Friends and viewer, the Platonic dialogue, one of the dialogue which attracts me a lot, the name of this dialogue is Apology, the Apology of Socrates. This dialogue is written about 429 and 347 BC, the Apology of Socrates. This is related to the trial of Socrates. So Plato's Apology is an account of the speech Socrates make at the trial, in which he is charged with not recognizing the gods recognized by the state, inventing new deities, and corrupting the youth of Athens. Socrates' speech, however, is by no means an apology. In our modern understanding the word, the name of the dialogue derives from the Greek word apologia, which translates as a defense or a speech made in defense. Thus, in Apology, Socrates attempts to defend himself in his conduct, certainly not to apologize for it. For the most part, Socrates speaks while he was in trial. He speaks before the jury. For the most part, Socrates speaks in a very plain conversational manner. He explained that he has no experience with the law courts and that he will instead speak in the manner to which he is accustomed, with honesty and directness. He explained that his behavior stems from a prophecy by the oracle at Delphi, which claimed that he was the wisest of all men. Recognizing his ignorance in most worldly affairs, Socrates concluded that he must be wiser than other men, only in that he knows nothing. In order to spread this peculiar wisdom, Socrates explained that he considered it his duty to question supposed wise men, to expose their false wisdom as ignorance. These activities earned him much admiration amongst the youth of Athens, but much hatred and anger from the people he embarrassed. He cites their contempt as the reason for his being put on trial. Socrates then proceeds to interrogate Meletus, the man primarily responsible for bringing Socrates before the jury. This is the only instance in the Apology of the elenchus or cross-examination, which is so central to most Platonic dialogue. His conversation with Meletus, however, is a poor example of this method, as it seems more directed towards embarrassing Meletus than toward arriving at the truth. In a famous passage, Socrates likened himself to a gadfly stinging the lazy horse, which is the Athenian state. Gadfly, Socrates called himself a gadfly, stinging the lazy horse, which is the Athenian state. Without him, Socrates claims the state is liable to drift into a deep sleep, but through his influence, irritating as it may be to some, it can be weakened into productive and virtuous action. Socrates is found guilty by a narrow margin and is asked to propose a penalty. Socrates jokingly suggests that if he were to get what he deserved, he should be honored with a great meal for being of service to the state. On a more serious note, he rejects prison and exile, offering perhaps instead to pay a fine. When the jury reject his suggestion and sentence him to death, Socrates stoically accepts the verdict with observation that no one but the gods knows what happens after death. And so it would be foolish to fear what one does not know. He also warns the jurymen who voted against him that in silencing their critic rather than listening to him, they have harmed themselves much more than they have harmed him. Socrates claimed that these new critics will be a younger and harsher is borne out by the Apology itself, in which Plato provides a damning criticism of Meletus and the Athenian justice system. Plato is right in saying that Socrates is unique and original. No one like him has appeared in the subsequent 2.5 millennia. On the other hand, it is also true that his influence did breed a whole new generation of critics. In fact, Socrates almost single-handedly gave birth to the Western rational philosophical tradition. And if all philosophers that have come since are following in his footsteps, his form of criticism has multiplied exponentially. So, this is the Apology of the Socrates by Plato, one of the Platonic dialogue. So, Apology, one of rare work, gracefully bridges divided between philosophy and literature. The work is less concerned with asserting any particular philosophical doctrine than it is creating a portrait of ideal philosopher on trial with his life at stake. Socrates maintained his cool and unwavering defense his way of life as unassailably just. This speech has served as inspiration and justification for philosophical thinker ever since. It is also valuable that it links three major themes in Socratic thought: Socratic irony, the elenchus, the Socratic mode of inquiry, and the higher ethical concern that dominates Socrates' life. The Delphic oracle, which proclaimed that Socrates was the wisest of man, because he knows that he knows nothing, can be posited as the source of Socratic irony. This oracle has led Socrates to assume his highly ironic stance of confessing his own or ignorance. So, this irony then deeply informs the elenchus, Socrates' preferred mood of inquiry. So, friends and viewers, this the Apology of the Socrates is one of the beautiful dialogue Plato had ever written after Republic and many other of his dialogue. I hope that when you will go through this dialogue in detail, you will enjoy it a lot. So thank you very much for patient listening.